Welcome to Crypto Bahamas. I am Leanna Haakons, and I am joined today by Meltem Demirors. She is Chief Strategy Officer at CoinShares. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here in the Bahamas.
Of course. It's nice to have you down here at the warm weather talking about Bitcoin and Lightning. Give me a little insight from your panel today.
Yes, so one of the things we've been really focused on at CoinShares is we're a digital asset investment firm. We've been in the business of managing digital assets since 2014. We currently have around 5 billion assets under management on our platform. And we've always been excited about Bitcoin. When we started in this industry, there was only Bitcoin. Now, obviously, there's been a proliferation of different digital assets that all have different use cases and sort of different features. But I think one of the things we often don't talk about is Bitcoin has been and continues to be sort of the genesis of everything that's been built in the space, particularly on the financial markets side. It's been a great source of liquidity for other protocols and for new use cases. And I think with the advent of a lot of changes to the Bitcoin protocol, in particular Taproot, which was activated last year, we can now do a lot more at layer 2. We've seen this interesting approach where there are a lot of new layer 1 blockchain networks launching or cross-chain bridges that allow people to move assets between chains. But Bitcoin's approach is really interesting because instead of having all of these different chains with their own tokens, you have one base layer, the Bitcoin network, that has a very robust security model. And we're building these layers on top of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin layer 2 is Lightning, which is focused on payments. There's also layer 3 that's being built. We just invested in a company called 𝗦𝗷𝗲𝗀𝗍𝗍 that's focused on using Bitcoin as a communication protocol. And so we're just starting now to see a lot of innovation in this multi-layered approach to building on one base protocol with one token, Bitcoin, but finding new ways to utilize that through these abstraction layers.
And thank you for clarifying that, because I do know that obviously the education piece in this field is a lot for people that are new to the industry or TradFi moving into crypto, someone like myself. It's a lot to take on. You're one of the very prominent women in the industry in crypto. How did you get into crypto, and what is some advice that you might have for other people that are just making their way in, trying to learn about the different protocols and layers? It's a lot.
Yeah, so I would say for me, it started with I've always been, a weirdo on the internet, hanging out with my weird internet friends. The really great thing about crypto and Bitcoin in particular is the community is global in nature. It's a 24/7 online community, and there are really no barriers to anyone learning about it, getting up to speed on it. There are a ton of free, great resources. Unlike traditional finance, where there's sort of been these gatekeepers of information, or where you have to pay an advisor to tell you about innovative new companies, and there's sort of these limitations to access and the specialized knowledge you need to have. I think crypto has been really transformative because it's allowing people to get really smart on this topic, and someone who's motivated can learn about crypto and download apps and interact with these different protocols in new ways. So just the barrier to learning is so low. All it takes is your own curiosity and your own commitment. The other thing I'll say is at CoinShares, we publish great research. We have these little knowledge bites, but we also write in-depth papers, in particular on Bitcoin, the Lightning Network, Bitcoin and how Bitcoin mining works, just the Bitcoin network overall. So I would highly encourage people to check that out as well. And there are tons of firms who are publishing really great work in this space.
Well, that's good to know, because I think always having a good source of information, a reliable source, not maybe just following Reddit or whoever might be typing up something on the internet, is a good place to start. And what about for women specifically that are looking to get into crypto, or maybe just getting into crypto and they want to meet more women in the industry? How do you network as a woman in crypto?
My gender doesn't really dictate what I do. It's just one attribute of who I am. Look, I always try to find like-minded people to work with, and people who have similar sort of focus. So I think actually this is the most diverse industry I've ever worked in. I started my career as a trader and then worked in the energy industry. So crypto has by far been the most diverse and sort of most open industry I've worked in. So I don't think it's necessarily a gender thing. Like, a woman can go on the internet and learn just the same way a man can. So it's one of the great things is a lot of the historical barriers we've had just don't exist in crypto. And I will say it's very much a meritocracy, like in the marketplace of ideas. Good ideas rise and bad ideas get challenged. So definitely enjoy being confrontational and arguing with people on the internet. I do think it's a space where if you have strong views, which I do, you have to be ready to defend those views and to be empirical and data driven. But yeah, I don't think there are any barriers to entry, and there are tons of great female leaders now in the industry, especially women like Katie Han, who just raised a massive $1.5 billion fund, Amy Wu, who runs FTX's $2 billion fund, Elizabeth Stark, who's the CEO of Lightning Labs, which is now a unicorn. So there are a lot of great role models and people who are sort of leading the charge.
Yeah, those are some great names for people to check out along with yourself. What is something that excites you maybe the most, something that excites you the most about this space in the next 12 to 18 months, let's say?
Bitcoin. I mean, I started out in this space being excited about Bitcoin. I'm still really excited about Bitcoin. And I think what's been really exciting to see is as the innovation around Lightning in particular and this sort of layered approach to Bitcoin continues to evolve, we don't see it here because we are in Bahamas. It's very expensive to get here. A conference ticket to this conference is also very expensive. But if you travel around the world, people, like, what's so cool about Bitcoin is it's global. Anyone can utilize the Bitcoin network. Anyone can hold Bitcoin. You don't need special education. You don't need permission. You don't need to be part of a special group. Like, this is open and it's for everyone. It's global in nature. So as we look around the world, there are tons of communities around the world, whether it's in the Philippines, whether it's in Nigeria, whether it's in Argentina or El Salvador, where people are starting to use and actually adopt Bitcoin in a meaningful way. And that to me is still the most exciting thing. Like, here where we are, most of us have never ever experienced financial exclusion or financial violence, which is the most prevalent form of violence in our world today. Over half of the world's population lives under a totalitarian regime. And so we're not familiar with this. We don't live in that environment, but we're seeing these incredible stories emerging, these incredible use cases, incredible companies being built around bringing Bitcoin financial freedom and financial access to people who've never had that before through Bitcoin and Bitcoin-based applications, which is something I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I think that the world perspective opportunity for financial freedom and financial literacy, something that I am very strongly passionate about, is an incredible place to be. And we're happy that you're our Bitcoin educator here at SALT. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, Bitcoin's not just for billionaires, it's for the billions as well, which is something that Elizabeth Stark from Lightning Labs likes to always remind me of.
I love that line. Thank you so much, Meltem.
Thanks for having me.